So guys, good morning, or afternoon I think it is now. Sorry about not getting this video up sooner. I know a couple of you have been on the YouTube channel when I've done my review of the modular, and you were also inquiring about how I fitted my Packtalk to it. Had a few technical difficulties to say the least. It's been absolutely mental. So what I've done for you, I've got my Packtalk, got a smart pack which actually fits on the same bracket. If you buy them, they're a bit cheaper than these Packtalk originals, and they have the same feature when you update them. I've got the microphone kit, I use the metal bracket, I've got a couple of headphones and speakers, and then we're all ready to go. And what I'm going to do is, because I've took it out of this one, I'm going to fit it all back in for you, and then we'll go through it as we work our way through, and any of the questions that hasn't been answered when I fit it, you can ask me in the comments below if that's okay. So, we'll crack straight on. What I like to do then is, I'll take the visor off. Just saves it getting absolutely covered in finger marks and just getting destroyed while you're trying to fit your intercom system. So I'll pop this off there, and we'll just put that just over there out of the way, and we can forget about that now. Next thing we'll do, we'll take all our linings out. So I'm going to undo the chin strap so we can move that out of the way and get it where we don't need it to be. We'll pop all our little poppers off. Put that to one side. Then we'll do the same with the head lining, just on the back end of it, okay? So on this one, all we need to do is just lift that out and push it forward. So, as we're looking inside now, you'll see the speaker pockets here, and on the other side, the speaker pockets there, and there's a little groove channels that I've run one of the cables round and out, and then here, where the rubber clamp's been, because these are just like a rubber seal, I've just found that I can fit the rubber clamp here and inside the EPA liner just there, and I can run the microphone around the back of the chin strap. I was considering putting the sticky back kit on, which would have mounted this up here. When I was using it, it was quite high up, and I just found it was going to be a bit awkward, plus these lines, it just didn't seem to sit just quite right. So, from Cardo themselves, what they have is, and I'm sure the guys from Senna will do the similar thing, they have like this metal bracket, okay, it comes in your kit. All you do, get a screwdriver in there, pop it off, and it will take off the sticky kit and put on the metal clamp, clip it back in, and you're good to go. So we'll start with this part first. We have the sun visor mechanism just here, and what I wanted to be careful of is being able to operate that efficiently and still having me Packtalk tucked back out the way so it doesn't interfere with each other. And I find now I use the thumb to and from, and it works fine. Now, I've had this helmet for a while, and that has never bothered me. I've also had this helmet, and I've tried and tested it because I bounced my head off the floor of it in November, and this is obviously another new variation of the helmet because I've had to bin that one. And I will upload a video of how good these are and with the accident that I had in due time. So, metal clamp. If we look in here, you'll see that the EPA liner moves on both sides, okay? And this allows us a little bit of flexibility just on this little bracket here. Now, be careful when you do this because you've got the strap here of the chin guard. So if you can look there, you've got the little strap just to the chin guard, and I don't want to be pulling that back because then that'll make this a bit more tight around the side of the chin. You don't need that. So we want to pull that out so we've got a little bit of room for ourselves. With the metal clip, we can just push that out, look where we need it to be, and it will initially crimp that rubber seal down like that. Okay, so don't worry about it for now, but it will push that down and just slide it straight through. So what I'm going to do, we'll just push that through now. Make sure we don't get on top of that strap, as I said. And just a little bit of a wiggle, all the way down. Done. That is as strong as we're going to have this clamp. And as you can see, I've still got use and movement of the sun visor, or the internal drop-down sun visor. So that, to me, keeps it nice and tucked out the way, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. So now we have a couple of little cables to deal with. Alright, this one's for the microphone. So we'll just push this over there out of the way so we can forget about that for a little bit. Let's just stick it there. What I'm going to concentrate on now then is the speakers. So on your speakers, not to teach you to suck eggs, but we have the short and the long one. The long one goes away from the Packtalk system because it'll wrap right around the back of the helmet, and the short one comes close. Now, as this is another helmet that I've had, normally you get the big round circle sticky pads, okay? Now these speakers are out of the smart pack system, which is this, and I bought this as an additional backup system. and one of my friends went in with the Joe with me, so we kind of just split the cost. And I think, don't quote me, I'm sure it was only about £240, £250 when I bought it. And when this gets upgraded to the firmware, it goes to firmware 5.7, I think it is, which is the same as you have on the Packtalk originals. So you kind of have the mesh system and the ride and all that stuff. But either way, the slightly smaller speakers. The Packtalk and the Packtalk both have larger 40 or 45mm speakers, I think they are. But either way, you will get, just in here, in this little circle point, a little circle Velcro sticky pad that you can put on. But for now, as you can see, I just cut a little tiny Velcro strip, put it on, and to be honest, it works just the same. Alright, so we'll just put that in there, and as we do, it allows a little bit of movement to tweak it and move it to and from, and I can just run this cable back and get that out the way. Now, let's go round to the other side for the other speaker. So we'll spin the helmet round, and yes, I am sat on the couch doing this because I thought it would be comfy for today, it's just a bit easier. So, same again, we'll get the little speaker pad just in there. I've got my little bit of Velcro that I've got just stuck on. I'm going to put this in here, and then through that little channel, just going to rub my cable out, use a bit of the interior aligner, and now, when we get to this part, there's like a little red mounting point for your neck liner or your neck roll. You don't want to put your cable across that, because if you push it in and shove it in, you can fray these cables because these are only quite thin. So what I found works for me is I just get it and I run it up that little groove of the EPA liner, just in between them two, and that just tucks it nice and neatly out the way. So we push that in a little bit. There we go. And that holds that down there but keeps it away from where your neck roll is going to be. So when we fit the neck roll, it's just as good as it was when we first got them out the factory anyway. Alright, so come around this way. We now have to plug in our speakers, right? So normal AUX pre-out, male, female, clip them together, and now on this side of the helmet by the back of the clamp, pushing a little bit of that EPA liner, which makes this a little bit more snug, leaves us a little bit of a gap here between the outer shell and the EPA liner, so we can just tuck this down in between all of this. Alright, so a few cables, just manipulate them around, tuck them down out the way, and eventually that will just drop in all the way down. And that's that, and as you can see, it's just starting to tuck out the way. Don't worry about these cables just yet, we'll tidy them up in a minute. So now let's work on the microphone. Right, I use the boom mic. Don't know whether you are familiar with the boom mics, but on the front of the Cardo stuff they have a little yellow triangle. That has to face your mouth. If that's facing the other way, when you're speaking, it's not going to pick up the audio that you want it to be. Also on these, they have like a squishy, flexible rubber backing on it with a little flat piece. You can get Velcro patches to fit on them if you can stick them on your visor. But what I've found works really well, where the chin strap is, there's a massive void behind that and there's nothing there whatsoever, because this comes around our chin, and even when we push it flush, there's a big groove that they've had to obviously leave to mount their equipment on, and then when they put the EPA line over the top, they just left a big gap for us. That is absolutely ideal to put this in. So the difference we're going to do now is going to get our little cable. Now the cable only mounts one way. Don't know whether you can see on the camera, I'll try and bring that a bit closer. There's like a flat part here and like a little roof, kind of like a house. It'll just match up identically. Two little arrows, join them together, click on them, done. Now here, if you look just on this part of the lid, right, we can just rest it at the back, and I've found that we can just push it through, and then the microphone just fits nice and neat. Look at that, just really just drops in, and then we can just manipulate that a little bit, push that down there, job done. And that is really nice and neat out the way now, which allows us a little bit of move around the front, not too far around the front of the face, because we don't want our microphone over here. We want it to kind of be just on front of your mouth, or just to the left hand side, so it's not distracting when you're putting the lid on and off, or opening up the mechanism of the visor, of the front mechanism. Sorry, I'm all fingers and thumbs today, aren't I? So I do apologise. Right, so now we've got all these little cables. We can now just start pushing these and tucking these down out the way. Okay, there's a lot more room in here than you'd think. And as you start manipulating them around, you'll feel that there's loads of little gaps and loads of little spaces we can hide things. So we're just going to tidy them down there. Right, so now with the headliner, in the back of the headliner, whichever way around we face it, whether it's the winter or whether it's the summer stuff, I have these little push clips. So what I find helps to tidy these little cables out the way is, so I go to push it down, I get the cable just here, right? Hope you're getting this. Get the cable and I just put it on top of that little push clip, because that'll just allow the cable to run around it and not interfere with any of the neck roll again. So just in the back here, we have our little stud there. That'll go on this one. Push that one in. And in this one, push them down out the way. Oh, apologies. There we go. That's the one. Push it in there. And then push the little cables out the way. So as there, out the way on that one. We'll find the little recess there. Clip that on. Now already, we've got a nice clean area to work with. There's nothing going to interfere with our ears, our headlining. There's no cushions on there that's going to affect the cables. It's all nicely tucked out the way for us. Alright, so now we'll just start building things back in. So, those little red clips I was on about fit in these little grooves here. And as you can see, if you're sliding that on top of a cable, it could fray the cable, and we don't want that to happen. Alright, you get a little bit of movement to manipulate around, but you don't want to be covered in those little red gaps on the back of the helmet where these actually push and fit on. So, what we'll do, we'll just slide this on top. They just go in the back there, and as you look inside the helmet, with that little cable, just in there, don't know whether you can see, just where my finger is, there's that little red clip. So we'll secrete this, there we go, that'll fit on top, and that bit, that's it, and that pushes on, and you can kind of feel a little bit of resistance as it pushes itself on, and that's exactly how we want it to feel. We'll do the same on this side, just push that down, and we'll just feel a little bit of a pressure, just as it pushes itself on. And then we'll just line these up, and then there's a little press stud on the front, put that into place, nice little click, and just push everything around, just to make sure it's all gone where you want it to be. And then we'll work our way over, and now we'll just use a little bit more caution here, because we've got a lot more stuff going on there. So if we push these on, I'll find that recess first, which is just there, and that with a nice push and a click. Now we can just push these bits around and just start tucking it underneath this little bit of a gasket that we have. Alright, as we get to here, be mindful that we're running ourselves just via the gasket and just on that metal little bit of a clamp. Right, there's that with a little clip that we've gone through, and now as you can see, all that is nice and tightly pushed up against the interior of the neck lining. Alright, and that keeps it nice and steady as we were before. So when we put the lid down, it's flush. Now I'm sure the center kits have like a little bit of a drop point for their cabling, so this may not sit flush when you put a helmet on the floor, but it's going to be flush for the intercom. The Packtalks, as you can see, is all flush with the bottom of the lid. Right, so now we've got these little cheek pad parts, and these, if anyone's ever took the lining out, will realise are an absolute pain in the butt. So, right one, it goes between the second clip, which is just here, and the top clip of the cheek pads, so it'll be here and here is what we're looking for, right? And there's two little holes in them, and there's two little recess holes down in here. So on that one, now these can be quite tricky, so just bear in mind with it. All right, that's the first time that's gone in as quick as it is. So we'll find the other one on top, just move your headline out of the way, and that one, there it is. That's the quickest I've done that, I ain't gonna lie. Do the same this side, so we're looking in the little point on the top, so it's gonna be this bit and that bit on this side of us, okay? Just round out where the speakers go. And the idea of these things are just to keep it a bit more comfy. Where the speakers are, let me just line that one up on the little groove. There you go, see, they are a little bit awkward. Get that one, on the little groove. And then do the top one on the little top plate. That one clicks on nice. I'm just going to check this one again because I don't think it went on then. So let me just check. That's there. That one should come up a little bit. Come on, little bugger. There we go, that's it. Pull it backwards, it helps. Sorry about turning that away, but now that's all in. That's all clipped on. I can move my microphone down. Now, with the way we put that microphone, we can pull a little bit and it'll adjust it out, where you can push it back a little bit and it'll bring it back in. So when you're fine tuning where you want this to go, you have a little bit of free play. Just because it's running down the back of that void, it does nothing. These all squishing and function the same way they need to before. Alright, there's no difference in what we've done. There's no safety issues I've found, because as I say, I had exactly the same setup on my original AGV Sport modular. As I've done a bit of a high side on my bike in about November, I think it was. I landed on the top of my head here, rolled over, got up. Genuinely, credit to the helmet, didn't feel a damn thing. For about an hour, I thought, just a little bit of not an issue. But then obviously the helmet had to go in the bin, so we bought a new one. So this is our new AGV Sport modular. So after this, all I'm going to do is I'm going to shut it down, make sure that's good, make sure nothing catches here. I'm going to make sure that the visor mechanism works. So that's fine. As you can see, it's not going to interfere. And then either your Packtalk or your smart pack, whichever one you want to use, I'm going to put it on, clip it on, make sure that doesn't interfere with this. And as you can see, we've got a nice bit of a gap just there. And then finally, try it on just to make sure that there's no other little bits sticking out that you weren't aware of. Alright, so we just lift it, plonk it on, feel it around. Any pressure to the speakers, you can move the speakers down. Any pressure with the microphone, the cushions, you can move it all out. Now you can move the microphone out. Yeah, I need a little bit more there. And that's about right. I'm happy with that. So we'll take that back off. Pop this down. And then we'll just put our little visor back on. I love how easy these visors go on. These are fantastic mechanisms, aren't they? That clips on. Does that shut down? Fantastic. So that works. That's on. And that, guys and gals, or whoever else wants to watch the channel, that's it. It's as simple as that. As I say, you can use the sticky mounts, but if you do, you're going to end up mounting your Packtalk as high up as this. Alright? Just because of the way the contours are on the side of the helmet itself. And we want it away from this mechanism when it opens. So just factor that in. If you are going to use a sticky pad, you can. I know that there's some chaps and stuff on YouTube who have GoPro mounts, and they make this weird little putty that you bend in and mope around, and generally when they mount them on the front of the lid, and that can shape. That might be another viable option if you want to use that, but I think that looks a damn sight neater. It's low down enough so it doesn't get affected too much by the wind, but it's also located enough so it doesn't interfere with anything else of the helmet, and it keeps that integrity on that. Well, let's face it, we paid for carbon, we want to make sure that it does its job, let alone looking nice. As a rule of thumb though, just in case you are interested, I also find if you've got the white black like I've got, and you fit the smart packs or the Packtalk black now I think it is, you put them on because it looks the same shot. Because of that little black streak, it just blends away in the helmet. You very rarely even notice it's there. And so I think that's quite nice the way that goes. So if you don't want to spend the astronomical amount of getting like the Packtalk Bold or the Packtalk Black, get one of these smart packs. They are on eBay, and as I say, you get them in a dual pack for a little over £200 or just beneath £300 for the two of them. If you and a friend or someone else gets one, or you a pillion's going to go on the back of your bike, it's a worth the investment. 150 quid, what is essentially an original Packtalk. So you're going to get your 15 rider mesh and all this type of stuff, and that was off one of the guys on the Packtalk with the smart pack Cardo forums on Facebook told me about that. So when I've done the update, I've realised it's got exactly the same firmware update as the Packtalk has. So that's something to be mindful of. Right, that's me done. That is pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like my little blood bike squishy toy. They're quite cool. If you fancy one, as a charity we are in Maysign Cheshire Blood Bikes. We have a few of these, so I'll get a price for them. If you're interested in them, we'll bag them up and start sending them out and making a bit of a donation to the blood bikes that we're in. Other than that, I do have the video I'm going to upload at some point over me coming off the bike. I've got a new laminated Revit Dominator Gore-Tex suit, cost an absolute fortune, but I got about £700 discount in Multi Legends with the guys down south. I think it's near Coventry or Leicestershire type way. So it cost me just over £1,000 for that suit. Because I'm out on all weathers, it was such a good investment. And obviously I put it to the test by rolling on the floor with it, coming off my bike, so that was quite good. I've also bought some Helibar Horizon ST bars from a Kawasaki GTR 1400. We'll try and get a video of that. And I've got some new Blue Sky C, the dash cams on the bike. And I'll tell you now, the quality is exceptional, which you'll see when we do the footage. But other than that, I've got a lot more content to come. The kids and the missus have bought me these 3 little ring light things, I think from Amazon, to be honest, and I think they're working a lot better than what we've had before. I've now got a little microphone just here that runs through to my phone, which hopefully it works a bit better. We're starting to build our little kit. It's expensive, isn't it? So it's an expensive hobby we've got. I mean, when we do biking, you know, you can't afford any more drugs. It's just, it all goes into your bikes, doesn't it? But anyway, that is me done. That's the installation I use on the Packtalk bowls when I put it into the Sport Modular. I hope you enjoyed it. Apologies again for it being so late. And hopefully, guys, I'll catch you all soon. Have a good day. All right. Take it easy.